¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? Follow these steps with me, and by the end of this video, you're going to be able to say that very phrase just as fast as I just said it, and you will be able to apply this same technique to any phrase that you come across in Spanish. This is going to completely transform the way you speak Spanish. It's going to make you start to speak much more fluently, smoothly, and understand Spanish better because you're going to be speaking the way the native speakers are speaking. You saw in my metronome video, todos podemos, how I taught you about the rhythm. Now I'm going to teach you how to connect the words. And this, I came up with this on my own, from my own frustration with not connecting the words properly. And when you see how we do this, you're going to realize, wow, this is simple. I can do this now with any phrase that I come across. Before we get to that, you're going to need a quiet place where you feel uninhibited to be able to do this with me, because it's going to sound a little bit strange, similar to the metronome video, but it's going to take some extreme measures for us to change your Spanish. Before we do that, I want you to think of fluency like a spider web. So you have this big spider web that the spider builds with all these strands, right? With all the thread. When the spider web is strong, it can catch flies and do whatever it does. Your fluency is going to be strong like that. You're going to be able to, any Spanish you hear, you're going to understand it. And unlike a spider web, but kind of like the World Wide Web, the internet, you're going to be able to transmit any Spanish thoughts or ideas you have also. But why like a spider web? Well, with this activity, you're going to learn how to make one strand at a time, and then when you connect it all together, you're going to have this strong, solid spider web. But it works by building one at a time, maybe one each day. And this phrase that you're going to learn how to say, just like I said it quickly, is going to be the first one. And then on your own, you can just start building more and more and more until eventually, I mean, just imagine if you did 1 or 2 a day, 365 in a year, you have this solid spider web, this solid network. And what's really nice about it is it's kind of synergistic. It's not just the ones you build. It starts to become almost like contagious. It affects the rest of your Spanish. You notice, wow, I'm able to say this phrase now that I never even practiced before. Okay, let's get into this technique now. Before we do that, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It makes the algorithm go crazy in support for this video, and it will go out to as many Spanish students as possible. Okay, so now look at this phrase. ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? It's just 6 words. Now, why did I choose this one? It's because when I was living in Colombia, I went to Colombia, I was already speaking some Spanish. I was living in Bogota, Colombia, the capital. And to say, what did he say? I knew how to say that in Spanish. That was a simple sentence. ¿Qué dijo él? Yeah, it's pretty easy. You could just say, ¿Qué dijo él? What did he say? What said he? The problem was that in Bogota, I didn't hear a single person say this. Now, let's change it to ¿Qué te dijo él? Right? Because I want to make it a little more challenging for you. ¿Qué te dijo él? What did he say to you? Right? ¿Qué te dijo él? Nobody in Bogota said that. What did I hear all my friends saying? ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? And I heard this over and over again, or some kind of combination of this with ¿Qué fue lo que? They always started with that. So instead of saying what did he say, they say what was it that he said? ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? Of course, I wanted to speak like a native speaker, and so I tried to say the same thing. And when I tried to say it, it came out something like ¿Qué lo que te fue que te dijo? I couldn't get it to come out right, and all the words were mixed up. And I said, well, what's going on? I want to speak like a native speaker. How am I going to fix this? I wrote it down on a piece of paper. And this is where the method starts. You find your phrase, you identify the phrase that you wish you could say just as smoothly as a native speaker. And maybe it's because of the words are kind of like a tongue twister when you put them all together. Or maybe it's also because it's just not the words that you, as a non-native speaker, would happen to choose and you wish you would. Doesn't that happen too? Sometimes you hear a Spanish speaker and you're like, I understand what they said, but I would never choose those words and put them together in that order. I always tend to do it this way, more of an English thinking way. That's the perfect candidate for this method. Take that phrase. Hopefully it has between 5 and 10 words, not many more than that. This one only has, 6 or 7 words. ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo. 6 words. So what you do, I'm going to tell you what you do ahead of time, and then we're going to do it together. First, you say each of the words clearly of whatever phrase you're doing. And then we're going to group them together. We're going to repeat them. And this is the part that's going to seem weird, but I want you to follow along with me and try to do it. You repeat them until it feels comfortable for you. So sometimes these don't come together so easily for you. You only know how many times you need to repeat them until they feel good together. So you pair the first 2 together, then the third and the fourth one together. And then once you've done that, then you say 3 together at a time. We're slowly building and connecting these and forcing them together, making ourselves more comfortable with saying them together. And by saying them repeatedly, you start off slowly and clearly, and you get slowly faster and faster and faster. And once you learn this technique, you're going to be able to take a phrase and do this in less than 5 minutes. It'll just take you a few minutes a day with a new phrase, and you're going to see, wow, I went from not being able to say this phrase to now I can say it. And the beautiful thing is, once you do it, you won't forget the phrase. You won't lose that ability to connect all those sounds. It's like your brain just picks up and absorbs that pattern. And that's what language is. Language is a lot of patterns. It's bringing things together in patterns. So let's start doing this together now. Just repeat with me as you can. This phrase contains 6 words. ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? When you first identify your phrase, you want to say each one of the words separately and clearly. You always want to start clearly and have the best pronunciation that you possibly can. So it's ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? Now we're going to bring them together 2 at a time. ¿Qué fue? 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 Lo que te dijo. 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 Fuelo. ¿Qué te? ¿Qué fuelo? 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 ¿Qué te dijo? 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 Fue lo que te, ¿qué fue lo que? 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 Lo que te dijo, 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 lo que te dijo. ¿Qué fue lo que te? 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 Fue lo que te dijo. 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 And now all 6 words together. ¿Qué fue lo que te dijo? 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 And now you're saying it as fast as a native speaker. This is the method. Okay, so I know for some of you it seems a little insane. And for like language, it's like, that's so unnatural. What we've been doing up to now hasn't been working. Right? You're practicing, you have a good accent, you study, you speak with native speakers, whatever you're doing all kinds of using apps and podcasts and listening to this and practicing that, and it's not working. This will make it work. This is going to push it over the edge. Just remember, it's like that spider web. You're building this spider web. Each day, you're building a new strand, and before you know it, you're going to have that full, solid spider web of fluency, and your Spanish is just going to be beautiful, and you'll see it. I did this. Just do it for a month, please. Just do it for a month. You'll see, just in 30 days, you have 30 of these phrases. Try to do one a day. Right after this video, try to do it with another phrase that you can. Please leave a comment. Let me know what happens with you. Let me know when you try to do it. And with this video, were you able to say it better by the end of the video? Or even take a few minutes after it. Maybe during the video, you weren't able to do it because you were listening to me. Take 5 minutes, try to do it with this phrase, and see if you start off, take your time, do it properly. Don't rush through it. You have to sense your own how fast you can go. And then by the end, were you able to say it smoothly and quickly? And then try it with other phrases and let me know how it works for you. I'm sure this is going to transform your Spanish. It's going to make you start to speak so much better, because this is one of the things that I did. I didn't just do this with this phrase. I did it whenever I came across an expression or a sentence or phrase that I heard native speakers saying that I knew I never, in spite of all my Spanish studies, I just didn't tend to put the words together like that. So it killed two birds with one stone. Not only was it speeding up my Spanish and making me connect my words better, but I was incorporating these new phrases and new expressions that I didn't tend to use that were much more like native speakery and it helped to replace those more English expressions, English way of thinking, to a more native way of thinking that wasn't coming natural to me. Please don't underestimate its power to transform your Spanish. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I really look forward to reading your comments to find out what experience you had with this new method. Please buy me just one coffee, which will greatly support this channel and my work. Click the link below to see the awesome one-on-one classes that I offer, and click on my Amazon affiliate links to see the books that I use with my students. And since you like this video, I know you're going to love the next one.